Welcome to Shoreline Painting, a channel where DIYers can learn to paint like professionals. Today, we're going to be taking you through a 4-step process on how to prep your room for painting. We're going to show you how to lay out your floors, how to caulk. All these things are going to be involved in this video. You're going to want to watch it till the end, and then you're going to want to watch it multiple times so that you can master these techniques. This is going to really help you in your painting project moving forward. Step 1 is going to be covering your floors. Canvas tarps are going to be the easiest, the most convenient. You can find them at Home Depot for about maybe 15 bucks, or trick, go to Amazon. You could probably find them for more like 10. We don't have to get, fancy with, they have these canvas drop cloths for $35, $40 at the paint store. Just buy a cheap one. It's gonna get paint all over it. Perfect. Gotta prep this room. The first stage is gonna be covering these floors. Oh. Hey Jerry, pass me a tarp. Step number 2, let's begin to talk about prepping your walls. So we're going to want to make sure we remove anything like this to start over, unless you're keeping the paintings and rehanging the picture. Then you can leave these right where they're at. Press down on the surface before you do any mudding, because what this is going to do, it's going to indent your hole. So it's going to be indented instead of protruding. So when you go to a mud, you have a nice flat surface. Take your blade, nice 2-inch blade, and just pick up just enough. You don't need to pull up too much, just enough. Make sure you do a small application, clean your blade, okay? And then very gently on, I would say, almost like you have a matchbook underneath. Pick up and drag. Clean your blade so you don't have access on your blade. Clean your edges. That's gonna be the method for patching smaller holes. If you have a bigger hole, like let's say you have damage from your door swinging and hitting your wall and you have maybe a 2x2 hole, we have a video on how to patch a wall. And as you watch this video, it's going to explain how to walk through patching a bigger hole. This will help you moving forward. Inside the stage of prepping your walls, one of my biggest pet peeves is cover plates. I've seen so many videos of people taking their paintbrushes and cutting around this. Don't do that. Walk around your room and make sure that you remove all your cover plates. Very simple, great time to introduce if you don't have a screwdriver, you're 5-in-1. All you have to do, grab your screw, simply unscrew it. This way you have the same color going across the wall at all times. Another trick, make sure once you take your cover plate off, put your screw back in the plug so you don't lose it. And when you go put this back on at the end of the job, you know exactly where your screw is. Last thing, when you put your screw back in, make sure it's facing 12 and 6. Inside of step 2, another tool I'm gonna want you to purchase is gonna be the sanding sponges. These are gonna be versatile to help you in sanding your trim and other things in your room, your wall patches that you just applied. One other thing you can use these for is actually getting your walls to smooth. If you don't sand in between coats or before you start painting, what's gonna happen when you rub your hand, it's gonna be very rough to the touch. So what we're gonna wanna do is run these over the surface. They're gonna be your pole sander. These are gonna do the job. Step number 3 in prepping your room is an important one. It's for the trim. You're gonna wanna run your hand over the surface and you wanna feel, okay, this is a very, very rough texture. So there's a few ways you can go about it. Sanding sponge again, we referenced this in the video a few minutes ago. You can just run this over the surface and you're gonna find yourself with a smooth, prepared surface for painting. The other thing you can do is check for any major spots. So I have a drip right here across the surface. 180 grit sandpaper is gonna be perfect for you. So you're gonna wanna make sure you find that angle. Now, I have no drip, and when I go paint, my surface is gonna turn out perfect. Another important step if you're going to be painting your woodwork in your room is making sure that you tape to the floor. If you have hardwood floors, this is gonna be maybe a little simpler. I'm gonna show you on a carpeted surface. This can be a little more tricky because when you do it, your tape wants to pull away from your baseboard. So you can do this in strips, you can do it in a single strip. I would say if you're not the best taper, just pull it off in 3-foot strips, work this way. Just put your tape on the ground. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can see I'm kind of really loose. Just take your tape and press it. Make sure those carpet fibers are pressed underneath. That's going to be the way you're going to want to put tape up to your baseboard. Moving on to the fourth step, the most important step of this video, I believe for you as a DIYer, is going to be how to caulk and how to use your caulk gun. This one in particular, you would want to grab the trigger on the rear, and you would want to grab the handle and pull backwards. This is going to allow you to insert your caulk tube. This is important. Make sure you buy the right size. They have a bigger size than this at Home Depot. It's pretty massive. Don't buy the wrong one. Buy the size that fits your gun, okay? Insert your caulk tube into your gun. Squeeze your trigger. And once you get everything loaded and we go cut the head of our caulk, which I'll teach you here in a minute, this is gonna allow you to start working. The next big step is pick the right caulk. I mean, if you're going to Home Depot, DAP 20-minute fast dry is going to be good, because let's be honest, if you're just painting at home on the weekend, you probably don't have a whole heck of a lot of time. So fast dry, what's going to happen is if I put it on the surface here in about 20 or 30 minutes, it's ready for paint. That's perfect. This is what I would suggest to you. Also, when you go cut your opening, so these caulk tubes come sealed. You cannot get caulk out of here until you open up the seal, and you're going to do that with a razor blade. Here's where most people make their mistakes. If you cut this too far back, you're gonna make the orifice too big. So now you're gonna get more caulk than you actually want on your surface. What I want you to do is start small, work your way in. The perfect cut would be just about there. 3/16 of an inch, 3 to 3/16. You know, make sure you're looking, I like mine maybe a little bigger. I would say that's your perfect shot. There is this metal rod on your caulk gun. Most of them have them. Some cheap ones don't. Most of them do. You're going to want to make sure that you get it in position. And this is important because your caulk is actually sealed from the inside. So what this is going to do, it's going to go through the tube. It's going to puncture an edge so that caulk can flow from the tube out of the edge. And that's it. Put it back, ready to work. Your control comes from how you pull the handle. So if I squeeze it as hard as I can, I'm going to get an instant flow of caulk. So starting on something like this, we have a very thin line. You don't need a ton. What you shouldn't do is build your caulk, okay? You can see how much is going on, all right? Don't use this finger. I've seen many people do this. And if you come to my company and you do this, you get yelled at. This is the reason why. Do you see this? That is terrible. We don't want our caulk lines looking like that. We want nice, smooth caulk lines. Now let's show you the right way to do it. You want to apply caulk to the surface. If you read the back of these caulk tubes, there's a certain amount you want to put on. So if you don't put enough, what happens is you have no strength. And this will begin to break over time. As you apply your caulk gun, squeeze, and you'll begin to see caulk begin to flow. Pull your wrist at a steady pace so you're not putting too much and you're not putting too little. It should fill the void, and there should be extra. When you go pull your caulk line, use this finger. This is the one you want to use. Don't use your thumb, don't use your pinky, use your pointer finger. And just gently press against the caulk. Very gently. I'm going to teach you another trick. I know I've got a little bit on there. Wipe your finger on a nice wet rag and do it again. You might have to go over it once or twice, but you will get it perfect. And that, my friends, is perfect. Thanks again for watching today. So now we've walked. I hope this video was helpful for you today and teaching you how to prep your room, the 4-step process. Thank you for watching today.